Scotland, the land of the brave, the rolling hills, the peaceful and tranquil lochs, the bubbling brooks, the ceilidhs and the gillies.
Good evening and welcome to Inner Circle News. I'm Randy Nations.
And I'm Flower Rose.
Coming up on the show, could you have a silent STI? Dr. Herpes Syphilis is in the studio to tell us more.
We're also going to be meeting up with some of fashion's fiercest ladies. Let's see if my idol Jordan's in there.
And we talk through the pros and cons of having one leg with Heather Mills. Tonight we are putting Glasgow under the spotlight and taking a look at a typical night out in the city. Glasgow's become famous for its notorious drinking culture and its wild nightlife. In 2009 alone, the number of alcohol-related deaths rose by a staggering 42%.
42?
We're going to be taking a closer look at the people who witness this famous Glaswegian nightlife on a weekly basis. Firstly, we're going to cross over to Scott Jeggs, who's with a taxi driver.
I'm actually hunting down a busy taxi driver. This is Tom. Do you think that Glasgow's drinking culture has got out of hand?
It's definitely getting a lot worse. I mean, I've been doing taxis now for the last 45 years, and it's definitely got worse. It used to be only on a Saturday night, Friday night, but it's a lot worse now. It's every night of the week.
So are you allowed to reject passengers if you think there's no way I'm taking
yeah,
this guy?
absolutely. Because the last thing I would do is get more puke in my wee cubbyhole down there. So, yep, you're allowed to. You don't have to take them at all if you don't like them. And particularly if they've already puked up in the pavement, that's a good warning sign.
With crime on the increase in Glasgow, it's no surprise that it's been linked to the growing drinking trends. As we heard from Tom there, taxi drivers are also having to deal with the drunken antics as a result.
I fell over once. It's funny.
Okay, let's take a look now.
How about we go for a drink later?
I don't think that would work. Let's take a look now at what Glasgow's bar workers have to deal with.
Hey Randy, I'm Rebecca with Bartender Sue. She's going to tell us about working in one of the most popular student bars in Glasgow. How does Walkabout encourage people to come in?
Well, we've got the 150 promo drinks at the moment, and we've got the 3D TV as well, which is pretty cool for the football games. And we just had the Coronation in Hollyoaks. Soap Stars came in on Fridays. So.
And do you think Glasgow's drinking culture is getting out of hand?
I'm just comparing it to back home. I'm not going to allow a surprise when I came here about how huge the drinking culture is.
Hello? Hello? Testing! Testing! I need my mocha frappe latticino.
Flower, what are you doing?
I need somebody to get me my mocha frappe latticino.
Welcome back to Inner Circle News. with Randy Nations and her. With over 300 pubs and clubs in Glasgow, it's no surprise that the city is a favourite for a night out. Safety, as always, is paramount, so Tiffany Breakfast is standing by to talk to a bouncer about their role.
Hey Randy, I'm in Glasgow city centre with a bouncer from one of Glasgow's biggest nightclubs, Angus.
Yeah.
So, Angus, do you usually encounter drunk people and how do you deal with them?
Yes, I encounter drunk people every night. This is Glasgow, we're good for drinking, good for a laugh, good for a fight, all that kind of stuff. We get a lot of people out, a lot of randy boys, a lot of rowdy girls, and inevitably you're going to have a lot of people drinking, and I have my fair share of drunks. How I handle with them? Well, basically, if you're not too bad, I'll let you in and see how you go for the rest of the night. If you're absolutely steaming, I'll kick you out the door, and if you're gone before you get in the club, I'm not letting you in. Simple as that.
Do you think Glasgow's drinking culture is getting out of hand?
Depends. I like a drink myself, but majority of people are alright. I think half the folk, well, that wouldn't be the majority, but you know what I mean. Like a good bevy up, and every now and again you get someone who's going to go that bit further and take it the piss and just get in your face. So I don't think it's getting out of hand. I think the drug culture is more of a problem than the drink culture, basically.
Have you been given any specific training?
Yeah, you got basic martial arts training beforehand, just to know how to kind of handle yourself, how to eject people from clubs, mainly submission moves, things like that. The whole point of a bouncer is not to hurt the person, it's just to eject them in the nicest way possible, although some of my colleagues do tend to get a bit rough and ready.
With Joe, I got places to go. People to see, time is precious. I look at my Cartier out of control. Just like my mind where I'm going. The women, the shorties know nothing but clothes. No stopping at my Pirelli's on. Unlike my jewelry, that's always on.
Obesity levels in Glasgow are amongst the highest in the UK, and...
What? What do you mean?
And last year was named Britain's fattest city. We have a reporter standing by, waiting to talk to a McDonald's worker.
I'm loving it.
Thanks, Randy. I'm here in McDonald's, a favourite for Glaswegians wanting a late night munch. And I've got Jennifer McLaren here, who obviously works here in McDonald's. Do you usually get a lot of drunk customers?
Yeah, loads. The later it gets at night, the more we get closer to the club's coming out, we get more and more.
What's like the worst customer experience you've had?
There was a man who's maybe about 20, and he came in, he wanted free food because he had no money left. And I told him I couldn't give him it, and he got really abusive, started screaming, shouting, tried to jump over the counter. He had to be restrained, we had to call the police. It was a whole big thing.
Do you think Glasgow's drinking culture is getting totally out of control?
Definitely. I mean, I only see it from a McDonald's point of view, but definitely from the customers we see coming in here, it's just getting worse and worse as time goes on.
Thanks to Flower and all the reporters there for giving us that insight onto a typical Glasgow night out. Coming up, we still have Heather Mills joining us, and... Okay, Flower, what?
One more time. One more time. the dance.